Alright guys, so the Nike Dunk Low is one of my favorite shoes of all time. It's one of the shoes that's been featured the most here on this channel, and one of the shoes that has gotten the most hype and attention over the last few years, slowly winding down as we progress into 2024. The year's right at its tail end. We are about to head into December, which is absolutely crazy to think. But that is the truth of the matter, and we are going to do a little history lesson today on the Nike Dunk Low. So the first shoe that we're going to talk about today is a shoe that I already reviewed here on the channel. These right here are the Nike Dunk Low Polar Blues, and they are very similar to the UNC colorway, which is adored by many, and we are going to compare them to these right here, the Nike Dunk Low Kentuckys, which are one of the original Be True to Your School Nike Dunks. So these two dunks right here, which look so similar on the screen, besides a few shades of blue, definitely have their differences, and we're going to go over them. We're going to talk a little bit about how Nike's been doing overall and what's been going on with them. And yeah, let's jump straight into it. So first, it's important to note that you guys have actually seen me review this shoe before. This is part of the original Be True to Your School pack. As I already said, these in the Syracuse were released back in 2020, and they restocked in 2022, I believe. So definitely a very cool shoe that I wanted forever, but they were always very expensive to buy on the aftermarket. They shot up to around $500 a piece, and once they restocked, they did go down a good amount, but they still stayed out pretty high. So the Polar Blues are just a Nike Dunk that released pretty recently, and yeah, let's go into the box. So on the Polar Blues, the one thing that I will say is it does say BTTYS on the label, which does mean Nike Be True to Your School. The font is also a bit thicker on this one versus the Kentucky. So the Kentucky box right here does just say Nike Dunk Low SP, indicating that these are a special project, or in other words, a higher end Nike Dunk. The Kentuckys are a 10.5, and the Polar Blues are a 10. We'll get more into sizing in a bit. So I don't want to dwell on the box too much because it's pretty much the same with minor differences. Pause the video if needed if you want to legit check these. These are from Nike, these are from GOAT. And I actually got a steal on this pair. I'm pretty happy about it. I paid $147, I think, for these, which is a really good price, especially in this condition. But like I said, we'll get into that. So the Polar Blues are the newest dunk that dropped, and they feature the exact same thing as the Pandas, where like they are not very good quality at all. So pushing down on the upper of the shoe, you can see that it is a very stiff shoe. I'm actually going to use the left shoe on both because it's much easier for me to see in the camera. As you can tell, the leather really has zero give. Like, I'm pushing on this right here, and it's not giving way at all. It's as stiff as a brick, and that's one of the reasons why I got the Kentuckys, and I'm going to send these back. I didn't expect them to have as bad a quality as they did. As you can see on this Kentucky pair, just a completely different feel. When you push down on the leather, it does completely give way. As you can tell, it's completely different. It's soft on top, and by no means is it like A1 quality leather. It definitely leaves a lot to be desired as well, but you can in fact feel the difference on feet. And yeah, as you can tell, the leather quality right there. As far as the sizing on both of these shoes, these SP Kentuckys actually fit tighter than the UNC Polar Blues. The newer Dunks fit true to size, these fit tighter. That is part of the reason why the original pair of Kentuckys that I had didn't work out, because they were size 10. These right here are size 10.5, and they do fit a lot better. So if you are planning to get Kentucky, Syracuse, or the St. John's pairs, go up a half size. That is definitely a word of advice for you. I couldn't fit into a 10. They were too tight, and I ended up getting rid of them and waiting almost a year to get this pair back because I couldn't really find any deals, and I also somewhat forgot about them. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too far in depth, but the padding is also more on this Kentucky pair as well versus the Polar Blues. You can tell the padding is definitely thinner on these Polar Blues. And as far as like Nike in general, not exactly sure why they chose to make this change and make the newer Dunks worse than the older Dunks. I really don't like that. Definitely shows that Nike is cheaping out and maybe not doing as well as they used to do. That's definitely a possibility. A lot of shoes have been tanking recently, like the Jordan 1s really haven't been retaining their value whatsoever. But I don't think that this change in materials between the Nike Dunks of 2020 and the ones that we're releasing nowadays is a good way to look at Nike overall, because I think Nike is still on top of the shoe game, especially when it comes to hyped up shoes. There's really nothing that comes close. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.